calmly walked to the gallows and suffered a lengthy torture before asphyxiating just 17 minutes after the trap sprung. The judicial lynching was intended as a warning for black men everywhere in the region to mind themselves, which the Charles brothers were currently disregarding. They were moving forward on a dangerous mission to recover a pistol stolen by another railroad employee. Both men were carrying rifles as they walked through the restless town. The Charles brothers approached a freight train that was preparing to leave the station and confronted the young black man whom they suspected, but he claimed that a white flagman had taken the weapon. The flagman overheard the exchange and jumped down from the train, pointing the stolen weapon at the brothers. Then violence exploded in the muggy afternoon. The white man opened fire, but missed the brothers, who returned a salvo that sent him scrambling around the locomotive. Hightailing it toward the caboose as the train began to steam away, he glanced over his shoulder and was stunned to see them following close behind, undeterred and quickly closing the gap. Unscathed by the exchange, he decided to give up his loot rather than his life. He tossed the pistol away and hopped aboard as the train gathered speed, relieved to see his pursuers turn aside to retrieve the gun before retreating toward the western swamps outside town. Outraged, white citizens formed search parties and followed the fugitives, but the hounds were unable to catch the scent in the surrounding forests. They quickly gave up hunting. Robert Charles and his brother had disappeared into the dismal swamps that once concealed runaway slaves. In New Orleans, the shootout went unnoticed. The bloodless scrap was unimpressive by the violent standards of the post-Reconstruction South, and besides, reporters there were busy with a different sort of railroad trouble, covering the contentious negotiations as business leaders unsuccessfully pressured the mayor to deputize citizens as special police officers and crush a streetcar conductor strike that was disrupting citywide transportation. 8 years would pass before anyone made the connection between a black man in a backwoods railroad crossing and troubles brewing in the South's great commercial metropolis. But unseen threads, causality, and contingency, slowly tightening, bound Robert Charles to the volatile city. When the snare finally closed, New Orleans faced an explosive crisis that seemed to threaten its future, and maybe even spark the genocidal race war that many white Southerners believed would be the inevitable end of emancipation. It was a steamy Monday night in New Orleans, July 23rd, 1900, when 3 police officers confronted Robert Charles and his roommate, who were sitting on a doorstep in a working-class neighborhood. While the precise course of events would be shrouded in controversy, the violence that followed was undeniable and shocking. After wounding one patrolman and eluding capture, Charles ambushed a police squad outside his one-room apartment in the early morning hours, brutally executing 2 officers with the same Winchester rifle that his brother had been carrying when they marched through Rolling Fork almost a decade before. As the largest manhunt in the city's history unfolded, white mobs took to the streets, brutalizing adults and adolescents, murdering at least 7 black residents in cold blood, as civil authorities and deputized citizens desperately fought to restore peace over 3 days of bloody racial violence. When 2 officers stumbled across his hiding place, Charles gunned them down. Finally cornered, he exchanged gunfire with hundreds of besiegers in a spectacular daylight shootout witnessed by thousands. Before dying, in a blazing finale, he evened the score, killing 7 white men, 4 police officers and 3 civilians, and wounding maybe 20 more. The wildest one-man rampage the South had ever seen. Anonymous in life and suddenly notorious in death, Robert Charles took his secrets with him to an unmarked grave.